Well, it's Saturday morning. Haven't videoed any last couple of days. It's the October the 12th. And bring you up the update, up to speed. Hear a video a little bit, show you what I'm doing now. Trying to pick up a little bit so I find stuff. Today's trash day, so I got to make the run to the trash. And hopefully, when we're done with welding, so I can have these hoses and lines and stuff all picked back up and out of the way. So, let's see. There's my gloves. No, that's not the gloves. Must be out here. But bring you up to date. I'm working my way. Of course, as I go, my initial plans, I was planning on where my gloves at? I don't see them. My initial plans were on these pieces here. I was going to leave them. It was pretty well rotted out at the bottom. And my guesstimation, what really caused that rot is they had that welded. You can see where they had it welded all the way around, so that more or less sealed all that. But for some reason, they put a hole in there. And a hole right there. And the reason that one's not rotted and this one's not rotted is because it was far enough away from where the kick up were the tractor wheels of picking it up and throwing it up in there. So, but those was rotted, and my plans was I bought metal and I said, well, I'll just go ahead and patch on the sleeve and then go down there, then weld the sleeve on there, and then weld it up in here, because this is still strong enough yet. And I got to thinking, I said, that'd look awful, and if I was a potential buyer, I wouldn't like it either. So I went ahead and picked up the extra steel, what I need to replace them. So that's what I got there. It was $200 worth of steel, basically, and then the time to cut them and get them welded in there. That piece there, it was so bad. The reason I put that plate on there, it was so bad it had a hole where those things just filled clear up with stuff. And so it just sat there and that moisture and that salt, they just eat steel like crazy. So it had a little hole about like that down there. So I went ahead and cut that plate and stuck that plate in there. And then I'm going to repair that on the outside once it gets up, sitting back up. So anyway, what I'm going to jump on this morning and get these put in there. Like I say, I got these 4 put in there yesterday, so I got to get them put in, and I'm having a heck of a time welding that up there. And of course I shake so much anymore, it's just tough. And then using 7018 rod, I could use 6011. 6011 is made for more or less rusty metal, stuff like that. You know, if I was going to weld on something like that, I'd use that 6011. But you know, it does a good job welding. 6011 does, but it's just not a pretty weld. So I had a heck of a time welding those up in there. So, because that's up overhead, and I'm thinking about, since these up here it's going to be tough. And I said, I think about just go ahead and tacking it in real good, and tack this in up here real good, weld that down there because it's easy welding, and and then I'll wait till she's sitting back up, and then basically it'll be a vertical weld, which is easy to do, and it'll make it look a whole lot better. I mean, it's itty bitty weld. Unbelievable how much a little bitty weld will hold. When I was running the asphalt plants and stuff, of course I moved the silos and stuff, and I would always order a 100-ton, 75-ton crane with a 100-foot boom it took to move that plant. And then the silo legs, when I would design them to set that up, I'd put the concrete footers, and then I'd put 1 inch 12 by 12 inch by 12 inch, I think it was 12 inch by 12 inch, that'd be 15 inch by 15 inch square, with the re-rod welded to itself, set down in the concrete. And then I would come in there and then weld the legs of the silo on there. So, but anyway, to give you an example of how much a weld would hold, we had that train hooked onto it and went to lift up on it, and it couldn't lift it. And I looked around, and I missed a little spot of cutting that weld. I bet you it wasn't even that thick, that long, and it was what was holding that. So this is really structural. It's not really that big of a thing because you got this beam here and get that beam there, and basically them are for weight stuff you're going to put on top of it, and to help brace it, you know, up. So I'm going to have you on video this morning. I'll run a video and show you what it takes to get one of those in there. So so I'm thinking about, like I said, I'll go ahead and tack. Depends on how my shaking is this morning and how my welding goes. I'm getting better on getting the rod started real good, and then actually put it to the weld and getting a little bit better. So you'll see how it will go. But anyway, I got the helmet. I don't know what I did with the gloves. Got the hammer. Tape measure. Can't remember what I had this set down on. I think I had it down. And 65. On DC volts, you can go a whole lot lower voltage. But yeah, I got to put those in, and then get over here and put the brackets in to hold my hydraulic lines. And that should be all the welding be done. Well, I was thinking about, on these boards, about ideally the boards are supposed to have screws in them to screw the boards down to here, and so some of them are pretty thin, so I'm worried about those screws just stripping out. So I was thinking about last night, I can go get some, it's 3.5 inches, some 3-inch flat stock 1/8 inch, because that's all these are, 1/8 inch thick, 1/8 inch, and then go ahead and weld. I can go ahead and weld them in pretty fast, and then that way I can go ahead and use the screws. So if I cut, because I'm worried about, so I'm going to put green lumber on there right off the sawmill, and I was just going to go ahead and weld a strap coming across there, hold it. But I got to thinking, I don't want a strap, even if you go 1/8 inch thick. If you go to strap and you're pulling something up on that, it's going to hit those straps. And see, and I was just going to go strap it about every other one, see. And I think it'd be best to go ahead and invest and get the stock, the flat stock, and put them in, because all I have to do is probably butt that there. It's going to stick up on that weld there. I have to cut them short. And then just weld it here on the sides. Just a stitch weld on the sides. Maybe one down here. Keep it short up here because the screw's going to be probably right in there. That way I can go ahead and screw those boards down. I mean, it'll look a whole lot better, and those, of course, those screws will go down into the wood. Let's see. This is what I'm using to cut. There's a big old notch out of that blade, and it's still cutting. Then mark the gloves. Kind of. See there? That was a brand new glove too. I tell you, you just can't. Here they are. You can't get anything any good anymore. And I'm going to, since I got I'll have to put this shirt on here when I go to welding. Either that or use those sleeves. I might use those sleeves. I mean, the prices just keeps going up and up and up on everything. And then the quality just keeps going down, down, down on everything. So, it's ridiculous. So, let's get this piece measured over here. What I need. One thing about it is, my old motto is, each day done is one less day you have to work. Unless you keep doing stupid stuff like this. Well, I had to do it. But anyway, let's get a measurement here. Let's see. Should I go back there first? I don't think it makes a difference. I think it will. Hi, sunshine. It's measuring at 31.5, so I'm cutting them 31 3/8, because see, there's a square tube, and you're putting it in like that. You got to more or less drive them in, and I want them pretty tight. That first one I put in, I cut it too short, so I had to put some shim stock. Oh, I guess you didn't even see that. I just measured that piece back there. So anyway, 31 3/8. Got to get Jen's out here in this concrete, but they got to bothering my feet a lot, and so my daughter Jennifer noticed that and decided to go ahead and let's see. Get me these things here, and she gave me a hard time the other day. I was kneeling down on this concrete and said, "Hey, where's those things I got?" One thing about it, you get in a hurry. And you pay later. $31 3/8. Tell you what, bring it this way. One, 31 and a half, 31 and a quarter, 31, go too far. $31 3/8. Anymore, I'm getting a habit of measuring half a dozen times instead of measure twice. Twice is not good enough, especially when you get expensive stuff like this here. Steel, anything you go buy anymore. It's, like I said, it's just terrible. So, you know, it's a double-edged sword too. You know, I buy that stuff, and like that there is to resell, fix up and resell. But the prices that are getting so high on everything is people can't afford to buy. Like I got a lot of stuff listed on Marketplace right now, and it's not selling, so it's not a good thing. I'll put my earplugs in. Fancy dancy camera, kind of got a was watching some of the videos, a little bit of the videos there last night, and I noticed the cooling fan that I put on top of you there that makes a lot of noise, humming noise, so I might have to come with plan B somewhere. The stock that I got, what's original on there is 1/8 inch thick, and the steel supplier I went to get the stuff, he didn't have any 1/8 inch thick. All he had was 3/16, and actually, well, that whole thing should have been built with 1/4 inch, and I'm really surprised. That's a Landau trailer, and Landau is one of the top brands out there. So ideally, that should have been built with 1/4 inch, at least 1/4 inch material instead of 1/8 inch. And one of the reasons why I think they did 1/8 inch is you can see down through there how much they've got. Those cross pieces are 15 inch on centers, and there's a bunch of them down through there, and so you times all that up, and then the I-beams itself are pretty good stout. I didn't measure them, but I'm thinking they're 1/2 inch, and side pieces are pretty thick, and you got to think it's only got one axle on it, and that's a 26,000 pound axle, so that limits you on how much you can actually haul on that thing. So with that one axle, then they could drop back on minimum, so if on the size steel to use in there. So if that's a tandem axle, and say you get two 26,000 pound axles under it, well, then they would have to have that a lot more beefier because it's going to haul a lot more weight. So I guess they built it for what it was going to haul. The blade's getting wore down, so you gotta turn it multiple times. Picked this up at an auction for $25. Save that piece. I'll probably use it for something. I went ahead and cleaned up this morning. I had all those long 2-inch tube that I took off there, a bunch of them. That was the best ones, and I was planning on keeping them. I was going to use them for different projects, and same way with the old ones. These I took off because they was good and everything, but they just rotted at the ends. but they was pitted pretty good, and I went ahead and just throwed it all in there. I doubt if I'm going to be, like I said, I'm winding down on these projects. I swore, like I told the daughter, texting last night, on the last trailer I did, and it wasn't near the work I'm putting in this. The only thing on that trailer, that 40-foot gooseneck I had, was basically just power washing it, cleaning it real good, shoot it with the rust converter, and painted it. Nothing structural like this. So I swore then on that trailer that I wasn't going to do another one. So, but I did. But piece is heavy. So I'm going to have you all out there hold me to it, just not to do any more. So you can sit right there. Let's see how this girl's going to fit in there. And I'm getting too old to do this. Just hanging upside down. I'm more or less cutting that up there, and the sparks flying, setting me on fire. Uh-oh. The sun's right in my way. It's a long ways to go. I don't know if I might have to cut a little bit more off of it. Bring my tape measure back out. Go get my tape measure real quick. See, that's what cost me a lot of time too. Supposed to have it strapped to myself. Yeah, it's 31 3/8. Actually, it's a little under 31 3/8, so. Oh, the sun's shining right in here. It's 31.5. Well, let's see if she'll go. The sun is shining right. Watch your ears. I have to split the difference here a little bit. Thing about projects, want a little less something just a little bit more longer. For just temporary. They get tacked in there. It's too much there. Find my shims. Okay, I'll be right back. GoPro, stop recording.